So this is the DC deck building game. This is the variant that right now I'm calling the weakness variant, but I may change the name to the 3, 4, 5, 6 variant. We'll see. I'm playing Donna Troy today. She's the superhero. I'm not sure which set she came with. Looks like a Crisis 4 she came with. And it says here that I can pay one less to buy defense cards, and every time I avoid an attack, I can destroy a card in my hand or my discard pile. So I found that to be really useful. Now I'm playing against a deck today. I'll just put her here. I'm playing against a deck today that consists of a lot of defense cards. I've obviously built this deck accordingly. And I've played this deck many times and I've never won. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Larfleeze. May not have been. Arkilo. It was Arkilo. And I have not been able to defeat him yet. And I've played maybe 6 times. So even if I don't win, you'll see the mechanic and my variant in action. I have made a couple of adjustments to my variant, whereas I used to just have the vulnerability cards and the weakness cards. I made spaces for this thing up here called taunting. So if you have followed my rules or my variant to this point, what you'll know is that there's a certain order to take these. When you can, you always take those before you take these, and if you run out of weakness cards, you are dead. So an attack or something can't ask for a weakness, and if you go to pull a weakness, it's not there, you lose. That's one way of losing. The other way is if the supervillain escapes to, which will be this discard pile here. So there's a discard pile, which will be here, and there's a destroyed pile, which I'll put up here. And the destroyed pile you can sometimes get access to, but discarded cards are gone. Now the other thing that I have in this variant that'll maybe be interesting is I've added the crisis. Personal crisis are in there. They're simply shuffled in with all the other villains, like, example, here's villains, right? Here's some of them. All the personal crisis cards are, let me see if I have that right. Yeah, the personal crisis cards are shuffled in with the villains. And the crisis cards, just crisis, not personal crisis cards, are shuffled in with the supervillains. So when I pull a supervillain, and I don't know who that is, and I shuffle that in when I'm creating my main draw deck, you know that the supervillain is somewhere between card number 6 and 21 in there, for those of you, again, that have read my rules or whatever. So you set the deck up a certain way. Now, it should be the supervillain, but it could now be a crisis card. And it doesn't matter. If the crisis escapes, you lose. You have to solve the crisis. You have to beat the crisis before it escapes to this pile, or before, if it's a supervillain, you have to defeat them, her or him, before she gets to that pile. So the setup is the standard 10 cards. I think it's the same as the normal rules, certainly the same as my variant. So let's bear down and have a play.